Okay, Stig. Tuesday morning, I guess there's still a feeling of disappointment after coming so close to a playoff place and then ultimately just missing out the final hurdle. But once that disappointment subsided, I guess it's going to be a case of looking back on what was a pretty decent season and progress from last season.
Yeah, absolutely. The pride is beginning to grow. I'm sure deep down, I know we should all be proud of what's been achieved over the past couple of years on and off the field. But I think that flatness that you feel because of the football not quite going the way you want it to do is there. I was absolutely gutted on Saturday for everybody involved, players, staff, coaching staff, supporters, and everybody with a Hereford FC hat on was gutted too. So it was it's the natural feeling. That's we care about it so much, don't we? That's how you're going to end up feeling. But I think as we move away from it and the dust settles, I think that overarching feeling of pride is growing, and that's what I will look back on the season with that feeling more than anything else. I think on the day it just didn't go our way. Scunthorpe were incredibly clinical with the goal they scored. We probably had enough chances to have got the result that we wanted, but it just didn't go our way. And sadly, that's the game. I said before, I always think it's incredibly selfish that the other team turns out wanting to win as well. But unfortunately, in competitive sport, that's what always happens, isn't it, in fairness? But we can, I think we can all look back on what's been achieved with pride. I think 10th is a bit of a travesty in reality in terms of the final finishing position, which is annoying. But again, that's gone now. We can't dwell on it, and we need to start looking ahead. And that's what we're already all trying to do as best we can.
Okay, and on Saturday it was a great attendance. Again, I think it's the third time this season that we've had in excess of 4,000 at Edgar Street. So testament to how the support feel about the team and Paul Caddis.
Yeah, 100%. I can't thank the supporters enough for the backing they've given us throughout the campaign and last season as well. 4,000 crowds have quite often been reserved just for FA Cup ties at Edgar Streets in recent times. So to get 4,000 crowds for league matches is fantastic. Complete sellout in Hereford areas on Saturday, which again is great. And the support was brilliant. And even at the end, despite the obvious devastation that probably we were all feeling, I thought the crowd gave the players just the most fantastic ovation at the end to thank them for all that they'd done. And that's all you can ask for from your supporters. And I was, that was an incredibly proud moment. I was able to feel that pride at the time, despite disappointment that I was feeling. But yeah, no, just a massive thank you to literally everybody involved who's helped us in any way, shape or form over the course of the last 12 months. That's on the field, off the field, from the terraces, from the stands, volunteering in a weekday, volunteering out of hours, volunteering on a match day, just everybody. You're all legends, and I can't thank you all enough.
I guess it's time to look forward now, and the planning for next season's already been underway for quite a while. One of the things that we've been able to announce straight away is the 5-year deal with M&M for kit and stadium sponsorship, and it's a deal that has obviously been going on in the background for a little while, but we're really proud and really pleased with it, aren't we?
We're absolutely delighted to have agreed this deal with M&M. Obviously, they're one of the biggest employers in Herefordshire. They're based just across the road from us. There's the historic link back to M&M Sports and M&M Direct from the 90s and the early 2000s. And yeah, it's been a huge amount of hard work, particularly from yourself and George Webb, the commercial director. And I'm really grateful to the pair of you because it's gone on for quite a number of months. M&M have been absolutely fantastic to deal with. They've been really passionate about getting the deal done, and it was really nice to actually be able to put out some good news looking ahead to the future yesterday. I think it was much needed, probably. It's really exciting. Clearly they're going to be the first ever stadium sponsors, if you like, but it's great that they were in full agreement that we wanted to keep Edgar Street in the title. They knew it was important, we knew it was important, so it's now the M&M Edgar Street Stadium, and to retain the words Edgar Street was really important to everybody, which is fantastic. And I'm really excited looking ahead to what's going to happen in terms of the kit supply. It's going to give you plenty more options when you go shopping to stock the club shop, I think. And it's just really exciting times, and I'm absolutely delighted with the deal.
With the M&M deal, obviously half of it is the kit deal. With the kit, we'd normally be putting a couple of designs out for a fan vote to let the fans choose. But unfortunately, this time around, just the whole kind of scenario of potentially being in the playoffs, where we would have hoped to have the new kit. And change to a completely new supplier. It just hasn't stacked up that we've been able to go out for that road, has it?
No, absolutely right. We are absolutely committed to, to holding those votes moving forward. But just for this complete changeover to a new supplier and a new kit, it hasn't just worked out timing wise, as you say. Our old deal ran out at the end of April, so there was the possibility that we would end up using the new kit had we progressed in the playoffs, and we had to be aware of that in our planning, which is why we've moved ahead with choosing the designs. I can wash my hands of that and say you don't allow me anywhere near any fashion type decisions, so I can wash my hands of any of that. But yeah, no, obviously we obviously will reveal, there will be a kit reveal and that type of stuff further down the line, but it just hasn't worked out on this occasion, and it's not in any way, shape or form trying to take the fans out of the decision making process. It hasn't fallen right, and because we had to be sort of secretive about the deal, or because we had to be very careful and sensitive around publicizing the deal too early, there just wasn't the opportunity to run a kit poll this time. But we will in the future, and we will be committed to that moving forward.
And the good thing with the 5-year deal, it does give a little bit of confidence that, particularly with the non-match day stuff, if you're going to buy M&M this year, it's still going to be kind of relevant in 5 years' time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're quite looking forward to seeing lots of different options. We will be able to look at putting training kit in the club shop and maybe tracksuit tops and various different things. And I think the toddler baby market might get a bit of a boost this year as well, mightn't it?
Yeah, it's been something we've been trying to do literally for the last kind of 4 or 5 years at least, and never been able to with the bigger suppliers. They just don't do it, or the quantities that we need to order are just far too big for us. But one of the pros of going to M&M is they're a lot more flexible, and so toddler kits are on order, and they should arrive with the batch of kits for the replicas.
Yeah, I know there are particular individual fans that we're aware of that will be very, very keen and very, very excited to finally be able to wheel out the toddler kit, not for themselves obviously, but just for others. So that's really good news as well. And I think moving on a little bit in terms of, there's been a lot of talk obviously over the past few days. I've seen it. For my sins, I do look at social media from time to time, and there's a lot of debate around full-time and part-time and hybrid, and deals like this do help with our planning as we begin to look forward. We know that we want to make a change. We know we want to change things moving forward. The reality is we probably won't be able to change the training model for the 25-26 season because of the timescales. And Paul did mention that we're still in recovery mode, and 2 years ago we were in a pretty grave situation. So when we do make any changes or we do make decisions, we've got to be entirely confident that it's the right call, and it can be done for a longer period. There's no point making it really, a decision and discovering 4 months down the line that we couldn't afford it. We've done a lot of work already on, how much a move to hybrid might make behind the scenes, and the reality is you're probably looking at a minimum of 100,000 to 150,000 pounds more that it would cost you from a footballing perspective, and that may even be a slightly conservative estimate because you don't know where you are in terms of the cost of training facilities. If we went hybrid, we'd undoubtedly need to try and have accommodation available to players. So it's a very, very complex process. It's one that we're really looking at in detail, but it's not quite as easy as it looks on the surface, I think, to be perfectly honest. So we want to do the right thing. We want to progress. We're desperate to progress, and we know that going down the route of hybrid or towards full-time is going to help us on the field. But in the short term, I think our job is to try and provide Paul with as much money as we possibly can for a part-time squad for the season ahead, and that's what we're all aiming to do off the back of the success.
So although the first team fixtures are done and dusted now, the women are still involved, and they're extremely close to hopefully clinching the league title.
Yeah, 100%. We were trying to work it out, aren't we? Because they've got a double header on Sunday, and it's I think everybody thinks that winning the first game should be enough to clinch the title, which would be fantastic. But I hope they go out and win both games on Sunday, the double header, and then there's no doubt at all, is there? And they've had a fantastic season. The FA Cup run was brilliant. Obviously, they've won the County Cup in that excellent final at Edgar Street, and I just hope that they do go on and finish the job on Sunday. I'm sure that they will, and I'm sure that they're really looking forward to that. And then it will be great to see them planning to move to the next level. And obviously, it goes without saying that they will be involved in the kit deal as well. They will become proud M&M kit wearers, as will our under 18s, and it's going to have a huge benefit across the club. So I want to wish them all the very best, for not just for Sunday but for the rest of the season, and their last 2 home games will now be at Edgar Street, because obviously we haven't got to be thinking about any playoff matches, which is great for them from their point of view.
Touching on the kit with the women, another advantage of going with M&M is that there's going to be a women's kit available, so women's sizing rather than just the standard small, medium and large. So the women's team will have that, and there will be some in the club shop as well. So yeah, another advantage of moving to M&M.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I'm just delighted, to be honest. You get a big company like that in Hereford, and they've committed to us in the way they have it. Yeah. I think it says a lot about where we are now as a club. And what we need to do is build on the position we've got to in all areas, and sit down and have a bit of a reset this summer everywhere, and then keep cracking on. And I think it's important that I say that over the past 3, 4, 5 weeks, it's been absolute chaos for our small staff team in the office. There's rumours are rife that we've got hundreds of people, it seems to me, but actually I think we've got 6, haven't we? And not all of those are full time, and they are working their proverbials off. And success on the field is fantastic, but it does bring a lot of extra work off the field. So I can't thank you and everybody in the office, Jay, for everything that you all do for all supporters everywhere. And I genuinely hope that the supporters out there take the time to thank you as well when they got the opportunity, because you do all deserve it massively. Yeah,
it's about to get even busier in the office, because season tickets, I've already had emails off fans saying when a season ticket's going on sale. And although we don't have a definitive date at the minute, it will be kind of as soon as possible, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely right. We clearly had to wait and just see what the possibilities were in terms of the league we were going to be in. We've been talking about it for a little while, but we had to hold off. We thought it was sensible to hold off before making a final decision. But now the season is done, if you like, we can move ahead with making that decision, and we'll look to try and get season tickets on sale as soon as we possibly can. It's great that there are people already looking and trying to find out what's going on. And if you can just give us be a little bit patient with us, because now we know where we are. We can make the final decision on what we're going to do, and then we'll get that information out as soon as we can. Even if it then takes another week for the sales to start, we'll try and get a pricing structure out as soon as we can for everybody.
Yeah, I think the first email I had was literally within an hour of full time on Saturday. So obviously the disappointment of the defeat and just missing out hadn't curtailed their enthusiasm for next season. So it's great to see, and hopefully we can kind of hit the road running.
Yeah, I think it's quite a lot of us looking for something to occupy our minds with after the game on Saturday. I know somebody who went off and booked a holiday to try and make himself better. So they were straight online at 6 o'clock trying to book a trip away, which made me laugh. But yeah, so I'm trying to find something to look forward to and take your mind off the football. But it's exciting times, and hopefully we'll have the same interest in season tickets moving forward as we've had in previous years, and hopefully maybe even more.
Brilliant, lovely. Well, good to catch up, and I'll see you later in the week.
Yeah, top man. Thanks, Jane.